Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Kyle Richards sheds new light on seeing Mauricio with that woman. Very intuitive. Bozoma St. John defended her decision to notify Kyle once seeing Mauricio on a double date. Call it a woman's intuition, but Kyle Richards knew something was up regarding her estranged husband and his romantic interest, even before news got back to her. On Season 14, Episode 16 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show, the ladies discussed newcomer Bozoma St. John's reporting a red-hot piece of information to Kyle, a move that divided the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills ladies. Bozoma stood by her decision to call Kyle after seeing Mauricio Umansky with the woman he kissed at an airport in Greece on a double date at a restaurant, all as Kyle and Mauricio's separation continues. I get seated at the table. I see Mao sitting directly across from me, maybe 10 feet away, Bozoma told Dorit Kemsley, adding that her first instinct was to tell Kyle. Bozoma texted Kyle from the scene, followed by a 3-plus-minute voice note containing a full report. But immediately she knew, Bozoma claimed. I don't know why, but I immediately knew. Bozoma was out and saw Mao with a woman, Kyle said. And I knew it was that woman. Bozoma told after show producers that the agency founder appeared a little on edge, though he and the new woman were clearly on a double date. She said Mauricio, sitting in the center of the restaurant, didn't seem entirely comfortable to be in public. And while he wasn't necessarily overly affectionate with his alleged companion, it was evident they came together. I even guessed who the other people were at the table, Kyle continued. I don't know. You know, sometimes women were very intuitive. What can I say? I was not in the inner circle with Kyle to understand whether or not this was appropriate or not, Bozoma said. It doesn't matter whether or not we are on good terms or not. Like when something is happening to you, and it is outside of this group. Whoever's on the outside, I'm coming for them. And that's how I felt about Ma in that moment. However, not everyone agreed with Bozoma's decision to fill Kyle in on what she witnessed. Sitting with Garcelle Bavas and Jennifer Tilly, Sutton Strack wondered aloud if it was a way to hurt Kyle, disguised as trying to be a good friend. Talk about weaponizing, she remarked. That was weaponizing. Sutton further questioned whether Dorit put Boz up to it. Conversely, Dorit said it was just Bozoma doing the right thing. This is the definition of a girl's girl, Dorit said. She's not even friends with Kyle. Meanwhile, Erica Jane would have erred on the side of caution. I don't even know if I would have said anything, the ex-spin dollar singer confessed. Knowing how much the separation with Mauricio has hurt Kyle, I probably wouldn't have given the details. But Sutton said she was on the phone with Kyle when Bozoma sent the message, which left the Richards sister really hurt. Kyle said otherwise. I was happy that Boz reached out and told me, Kyle said. I really was like, okay, she really is a girl's girl, a friend. Not just that she told me, but in the way she told me. She knew what I wanted to hear. She's a woman. She gets it. Kyle wanted to know all the details without one little teensy-weensy crumb overlooked. Bozoma maintained she would have wanted anyone else to do the same for her. Of course, Bozoma and Kyle's friendship has seen its fair share of ups and downs, including when the marketing guru made a damning statement about Kyle at the season 14 where reality television blurs the line between truth and performance. Kyle Richards has always held a unique position. As a long-standing cast member of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she's given viewers everything from glamour to drama, from laughter to tears. But in 2025, amidst whispers of separation and speculation, Kyle is finally shedding new light on her evolving relationship with Mauricio Umansky, her husband of nearly 3 decades and the father of her children. For fans, the couple was once the embodiment of reality TV's most grounded love story. Their chemistry seemed authentic, their commitment unshakable. But as cameras caught glimpses of tension and tabloids buzzed with rumors, cracks began to show. And now, Kyle is ready to talk. A moment of stillness. In a recent interview, Kyle paused when asked about the last time she saw Mauricio. It wasn't the question that took her off guard, but the wave of emotion that followed. "It's strange," she began, her voice both steady and vulnerable. "You can know someone for most of your life, sleep next to them, raise kids with them, build dreams together, and still feel like a stranger to them one day." The last time she saw Mauricio, she says, it was a quiet moment, not the kind reality TV is known for. No dramatic goodbyes or heated arguments. Just a passing exchange at their family home in Encino. A glance filled with unspoken words, the kind only years of shared history can create. "He smiled at me," Kyle said, "and it wasn't the smile I've known for so long. It was more distant, but kinder maybe, gentler." Not an ending, but a reframing. Kyle wants the world to understand that what's happening between her and Mauricio isn't as simple as a breakup. "We didn't explode," she clarified. "We unraveled. Slowly, carefully, almost respectfully." She compares it to the way you stop wearing a favorite sweater. It's not that you don't love it anymore. It just doesn't fit the way it used to. Maybe the color faded or the thread stretched. You keep it because it mattered, but you don't reach for it like you used to. And yet, she says, there's still warmth in their interactions. The two still co-parent. They still speak. They still care. "Sometimes I catch myself smiling when I see his name pop up on my phone. It's not love the way it once was, but it's still love." Seeing Mauricio again, through a new lens. What's perhaps most revealing about Kyle's recent reflections is how she now sees Mauricio, not just as her husband or the man she once married, but as a separate individual whose evolution mirrors her own. "When I saw him recently," she said, "I looked at him not as my partner, but as a person. And I realized how much we've both changed." There was no dramatic confrontation. Instead, they sat across from each other, coffee cups in hand, and talked. About their daughters, about their separate projects, about how strange and oddly beautiful it is to be rediscovering each other as individuals, not halves of a whole. "It felt like meeting an old friend again," Kyle said. "One you used to be in love with, one who knows every version of you and still chooses to show up." The public gaze versus private truths, of course. Living life on camera complicates everything. Kyle acknowledges that public perception is a strange mirror. "Sometimes people tell me they miss us more than I do," she laughed, not without a tinge of sadness. "But what they miss is a version of us that was edited, curated, dramatized." What they don't see, she says, are the late-night talks, the counseling sessions, the confusion, the compromises. The way grief for a marriage doesn't come all at once, but in waves. "Some days I wake up and I feel light," she says. "Other days, I miss the way he used to put his hand on the small of my back when we walked into parties." The next chapter. Kyle isn't rushing to define what comes next. She's focusing on her health, her daughters, her creative pursuits. "For the first time in a long time, I'm living without a script, metaphorically and literally. I'm not trying to control the narrative." And Mauricio? He's still part of her life, just not in the way people expect. "We may not be married in the traditional sense anymore," Kyle said, "but we're still in each other's lives. Not because we have to be, but because we want to be." She likens their current relationship to a duet that's shifted key. "We're singing different melodies now, but sometimes when we harmonize, it's still beautiful." The power of letting go gently. More than anything, Kyle Richards wants people to understand that not all endings are failures. "Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is let go with grace," she said. "We're all evolving. Why should love stay static when everything else changes?"